Good morning.
Good morning, Soma. How are you?
Not too bad. What about you?
I'm good. Last week it was really nice here. We actually felt spring.
Hmm?
Today it's a beautiful day, but it's a little bit too windy. How's the weather in Sydney? Looks like it's quite warm.
It is warm. It's 22 at the moment, but I guess it will go up to 27 degrees today.
Oh, 27. It's pretty good.
That's right. Well, how is everything, Orod? So, what are we doing here today?
All right. One of the common question that people ask is in training or, when I talk about Kanban, they said, in Kanban, we focus on workflow a lot.
Mm,
And it looks like a waterfall because, the work goes through different stages. And they are a little bit concerned that it's this workflow and focus too much on workflow
mhm.
not only help people to collaborate, but also it's create more hands-off, and handover and, stuff like that and build more silo. So what do you think about that? Do you think is this the purpose of the workflow or it will be the consequence? How it might impact on organization culture?
Wow. Okay. I love that question. Whoever has asked it, it's a brilliant question. So, what I believe Um, Kanban could be used as a tool to change organizational culture. And
Mhm.
let me explain how. So we everyone who like hears about Kanban, they think it's the visualization, it's the board.
Mhm.
And it's too simple, right? Like that's what people think that, oh, what's there like in Kanban? It's just a board, like with and especially people, most of the people think that it's the three columns to
Mhm.
doing done. That's it. But we have spoken multiple times, like I think 100 times on this podcast, that when we talk about Kanban boards, Kanban system, it is way more than those three columns. It actually talks about the work stages, the workflow.
Mhm.
Now, the cultural bit of it, I think it could be used as a tool because let's go back to the basic. If you are starting to visualize everything that your team does. And let's start with the team, you know,
Mhm.
let's talk about the team culture. So the first thing that happens is that there's no hidden work going on.
Mhm.
Now, for any team to reach to that stage where, they are starting to put everything out on the board and start visualizing things and having that conversation with each other, that promotes transparency and trust because it will take some time for any team to get to that stage. The moment they are there, when they are really, really using a Kanban board like it should be. So, the first thing that already has been changed or evolved in the team is the trust component, which
Mhm.
is very important when we talk about culture, any kind of culture.
Yep.
The second thing is the transparency. We do talk about transparency in a way, but we all also realize and know that how important and how powerful it could be.
Mhm.
When we talk about transparency and visibility, this is not only the visibility of the work, it is also giving us a view of that, okay, like if someone is overburdened, if
Mhm.
someone is not, getting the kind of work they want to do, the people's motivation. So what it focuses on is that the people aspect as well, like the human aspect, which is beautiful if you think about it, because when you are visualizing things, the right conversation can happen at the right time. And
Mhm.
this is only happening in team level. So we haven't even touched the organization level. However, we all understand this, that culture is a very broad word. Like it's a very big word.
Yeah.
So changing culture doesn't mean that, like it can happen everywhere at the same time. But these small bubbles, which is happening in team level, can add up to the organization's culture where
Mm.
people have trust. people do understand the power of transparency and visibility, and they are communicating
Yeah.
the
So
right time.
back to the question that people normally ask. So do you think the workflow that we're talking about, does that represent or highlight the handover, or it's something else?
Well, it
Because it looks like it, when we say development, test, etc., it
yeah.
sounds like, I'm going to build something and then I hand over to tester and now it's their problem. I don't care anymore.
Um, that cannot be the case with Kanban because it promotes a pull culture. Again, going back to the cultural aspect of it. So there's a difference, right? When we say handover,
Mm-hmm.
for me, when I hear it, and English not being my native language, the first thing that comes to my mind is that, okay, something is being pushed over to me because I'm like handing over. I don't want to do anything about it anymore.
That's at least that's the definition used in most organization. I hand over to you. That means I've done
Yes,
my work. Now it's your problem.
it's exactly, it's your problem. Um, Again, a Kanban, a real Kanban system, and we have spoken about this multiple times, will not have the push one, it will be a pull one,
Mm,
pull system. That means whenever the testers are ready to take it on, they
mm,
will take it on from the developers.
mm,
Now, the developers, testers, these are just work stages.
mhm,
In a work, it could be different. It could be like, a campaign. It could be like, reviewer, anything. Whatever the column names is, doesn't matter. It will be dependent on the context of the work.
yeah,
However, it promotes the pull system,
mm,
which again changes the culture and how we do work, how we work together. So it is not about pushing the work. So let's say I'm like, you are next in that work stage and I have done with my work. I do have to wait for you
mhm,
to have that capacity. So what can I do in that meanwhile? If I don't have anything else, I can come and ask you, hey, Orod, do you need any help? I'm
mhm,
done with my work. If I can help you, it will be faster.
mhm.
So that increases collaboration
Okay.
and agree.
So the workflow we're talking about, it doesn't represent the push system. Basically, it's not something that people hand over to the next person. They need to wait until the next person is available and say, hey, I'm ready. And then we collaboratively hand it over to the next person, or you can do it together or something like that. So the pull system can, in fact, improve the collaboration. So it's not a, throw over the fence, it's your problem. It's more about when you're ready, give me a call. Let's,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's work it out together. But also, this is a really good point. Another point that will be added to the cultural bit is empowerment,
Mhm,
because this empowers people in their own column, that you don't have to stress out that someone is going to push the work. You can have that capacity and pull the work. So if three things are done in development, let's say, and you are in the testing column, you are empowered to pull what you believe is the highest priority at the moment. So no one has to come and tell you that, or you're going to work on this, work on that. No, you are empowered to prioritize things at that moment because everyone is on the same page about the priority regarding the customer. So that also adds to the culture.
mhm. And another thing I wanted to highlight, which I really like
Mhm.
about the definition of workflow. So I refer to what Andy Carmichael said in, in his famous short 5 minutes video Kanban lens, which I'm gonna put the link in our podcast as well, so people can go and watch it. He
Mhm.
said that workflow, at least we need to look at the workflow as a different stages of knowledge discovery. So at
Mhm.
the beginning, we don't know anything about that work. And then as we go gradually through this workflow, we learn more, right? So it's not like, I finish and hand over to the next person. It's more about how we learn about this as we go through this system. And that's basically why the work cannot go backward because we already learn, right? So we keep learning. When you go to analysis, you talk to the customer, you understand the requirements, stuff like that, you learn a little bit more. When you do the design, you learn a little bit more. When you start coding, you learn a little bit more. When we find a bug, that means we learn more. We learn something today that we didn't think about it yesterday. So
Mm.
I think this is the best way we can look at the workflow at the different stages of knowledge discovery rather than hand over to the next person. We learn through the system as we go together.
Mm. And there's one more thing that I would like to add, that how Kanban can actually help you to change cultures.
Hmm.
How we do the Kanban meeting, like it starts from the rightmost column,
Hmm.
which is about to end.
Hmm.
So when you start asking about the work and not individuals, that what's happening, what are they doing,
Hmm.
it changes the dynamics in a team.
Hmm.
It takes off the stress about, like start to just start working on
Yeah.
things. And that is the stress most of the people go through, that if they have a lot to do,
Yeah.
let me start working on everything without even, like thinking, how can we finish? But the narrative changes when you start asking that, hey, what can we do? Do you need support so that this goes to the done column faster?
Yeah. So we rather than you're referring to one of the Kanban principle, manage work, not the workers, right? So we not even ask, do you need anything? We probably the better question will be, what do we need to do on this work to go to the next stage, right? So
Yes.
rather than we target individual, we talk about the work and what we can do, and then individual different people have different idea to help the work to go through the system, right?
But this also puts the trust back in humans, because everyone is skilled when they are part of the team, right? That's
Mm.
why they are there for the in the first place. So they know how to do their job better than anyone else. So instead of managing people, let's start focusing on the work and let's collaborate on getting it done. And that is exactly what happens in Kanban meetings.
Mhm.
Because, and if you ask me, that is also a very good tool to change the culture and the dynamics.
And this is a fundamental mindset switch, I personally haven't worked in any organization that people focus to manage the work.
Mm,
Everyone focused to manage people, make sure they are individually utilized and busy. They
yes.
calculate and track how much time you spend, but no one really look at the lead time, how much, this work took to be done, right? We say, okay, how many hours you spend on this one? Developers at 10 hours, testers 20 hours, whatever, whatever. But no one actually look and track, how long did it take to get the work done?
Mm. Well, that's right. And I think you are right. Like, sadly, I haven't come across any organization as well where they are focusing on value and people rather than the, like individual utilization.
Mm,
But that can change if people use Kanban in the right way and also understand the intent and the purpose of Kanban, that why it does something, like what is the benefit.
yeah.
So that
But
would.
that's probably a very complex change in organization. Probably we need a different generation. Um, and to be honest, I'm not even sure the next generation will be human. So we can
Well, that's a different episode in the podcast.
can be yeah optimistic, but yeah, let's see what happens. Hopefully, robot focus more on managing the work than
Yeah,
people.
maybe.
All right, so just so far we talk about workflow. So one of the common question or myth is that workflow that we talk in Kanban represent the hands off, and
Mhm.
it looks like waterfall. and it doesn't improve the collaborative culture in team and organization. And we talk about workflow that we talk in Kanban. It's this different stages of knowledge discovery. We talk about Kanban focus on a or create a pull system, not a push system. So it's not throw over the fence, it's your problem. That basically means I finish my work, I need to wait until the next person available to pull the work. And that helps to increase the collaboration between people. You also mentioned that by visualizing the work, we can understand who is too busy. We can, help those people, and also it can help to build the trust by managing the work and focusing on the work rather than worker and individuals.
Definitely.
Uh,
And we have also mentioned that how Kanban can be used to improve and enhance cultures in team and organization
mhm.
through various practices and principles in Kanban, and also understanding the why behind them.
Absolutely. All right, good one. So I think we clarify one of the most common myth again today. Is there anything else, Sama, you want to add?
No, I think we have summarized everything
Yeah,
today.
good. All right. So thanks, Soma, and thanks everyone for listening and watching us. Those who not watching, please watch. Every time I need to shave. It's
That's true, guys.
very
That's true.
difficult for me. Shaving is very difficult for me.
Well, thanks, Aura. Then thank you everyone for your support.
All right, thank you. And we come back next week
Yes.
with another myth. Hmm?